Hello, Cheryl here, the No Sugar Coach. Today is day 79 of my carnivore experiment. Today, I want to talk about the importance of tracking your blood glucose levels. That's the amount of sugar that's in your blood. So, this is going to be a little bit of a longer video, but what I'm trying to do is simplify something that's a little bit complex. So, follow with me. I've got a whole bunch of notes, so you'll see me glancing down at my notes from time to time. So when I first start working with a client, one of the things that I suggest they do is start tracking their blood sugar levels. Ideally, first thing every morning when they get up before eating or having coffee. So basically, get up, go pee, and take your blood sugar reading. Write it down in a journal every single day, and this allows you to kind of keep track of how well your body is metabolizing the foods that you're eating, how well it's coping with glucose. So, what should a normal fasted blood glucose reading be? Now, blood sugar levels are measured differently depending on where you are in the world. In the US, it's measured in milligrams per deciliter. In other parts of the world, it's measured in millimoles per liter. Maybe this poster will be helpful. So, in the US, a normal fasted blood glucose reading is 70 to 90 milligrams. A reading of 100 to 125 is considered prediabetes, while a reading of over 126 is considered diabetes. In Canada, the UK, and other places, a normal reading is 3.9 to 5.5 millimoles, and a reading of 5.6 to 6.9 is considered prediabetes, while 7.0 or higher is considered, full-on diabetes. I also ask my clients to choose any meal during the day and to take a blood sugar reading before the meal, so they're in a fasted state. So that blood sugar reading is now considered the baseline. So we have a baseline to start with. Then, in an hour or two later, after the meal, do another blood sugar reading, which is then referred to as postprandial. So, your blood sugar after a meal is called postprandial. So, what should blood glucose readings be 1 to 2 hours after a meal? Well, your blood glucose levels should rise gently and return to baseline within about 1 to 2 hours after a meal, forming a gentle, neat curve. So you eat the meal, the blood sugar goes up a little bit, and it comes down back to the baseline. Now, let's say you're at a restaurant and you take your your baseline blood sugar reading, and you get a reading of 99, or if you're in Canada, 5.5. That's great, super duper blood sugar reading, awesome. So lunch is served, and you enjoy a big healthy salad with a sweet dressing topped with breaded chicken tenders, and you enjoy a warm whole wheat dinner roll with butter on it, and you sip on a coffee with milk to end your meal. Perfect. So when you get back home, anywhere from 1 to 2 hours later, you check your blood glucose again. Now your reading is 86.4. It went from 99, which was the baseline, down to 86.4. Or in Canada, you measured 5.5 at baseline, and now your reading is down to 4.8. And you're thinking, well, that's great. My blood sugar is in the normal range. Well, I have bad news for you. This is way below the baseline that you established before you had your meal. So what does it mean when you have low blood sugar after a carb-heavy meal or a carb-heavy snack? So blood sugar dropping below your baseline after a carb-heavy meal could be a sugar crash, or in medical speak, a postprandial hypoglycemia. This condition occurs when blood sugar levels fall below the normal range within 2 hours after consuming a high carbohydrate meal. This means that the meal that you ate produced a rapid spike in blood glucose rather than the gentle rise that I described earlier. So instead of this nice slow increase, your blood sugar just went straight up. So the rapid spike caused your body to overproduce insulin to manage the damaging effects of glucose in the bloodstream. Your body sees this spike as an emergency and it overcompensates. So unfortunately, an overproduction of insulin sends your blood glucose plummeting below normal. So now you have very low blood glucose. So you had your meal, your blood sugar spiked, the insulin came in and grabbed all the sugar it could and brought it right back down way below the baseline. So what happens then is that the low blood sugar can make you feel kind of tired, a little bit foggy brained, or a little out of it. It's hard to concentrate. You may feel like taking a nap. You're at work. Or later on, you may get a craving for sugar to perk you up again. Or, maybe you need a snack because you're hungry just a couple hours later. So if you often experience symptoms of low blood sugar after meals, you should really chat with your doctor and or adopt a keto, low carb, or even a carnivore diet. Now, for individuals without diabetes, the normal post-meal blood glucose reading should be 1 hour after a meal, 90 to 130 milligrams, or 2 hours after a meal, 90 to 110. In other parts of the world, 1 hour after a meal, you're looking at 5.0 to 7.2 millimoles, or 2 hours after 5.0 to 6.1 millimoles. So what is the big deal with overproduction of insulin? Overproduction of insulin can cause weight gain and other health issues. The relationship between excess insulin and weight gain is supported by, several studies and physiological mechanisms, and I've provided references in the notes below. So just to kind of go over everything again, when insulin levels are chronically elevated, the body tends to store excess glucose as fat, which means more fat on your body and increased weight on the scales, obviously. Too much insulin is associated with insulin resistance, which is an even more complex topic than this one, which I will discuss in another video. But if you're curious for more information, I've provided a link to my website where you can read all about insulin resistance. When you have high insulin levels, it increases your appetite, which means you're going to eat more and likely experience sugar cravings as well. Elevated insulin levels can slow down or interfere with fat breakdown, which means hanging on to body fat. Too much insulin is an early sign of metabolic issues, often preceding weight gain and obesity, among other health problems. Studies show that a high insulin response after carb-heavy meals predicts long-term weight gain. So we know insulin is necessary for proper glucose regulation, but the problems happen when we have chronically elevated levels of insulin. Not only do we gain weight, we end up suffering from other metabolic issues such as type 2 diabetes, arthritis, inflammation, cardiovascular disease, and much more. So managing insulin levels through diet and some exercise, and of course, sometimes appropriate medical interventions can help prevent or mitigate insulin-associated issues. So have a chat with your doctor. So identifying a problem is the first step in solving it. Remember, you can't manage what you don't measure. So test your blood sugar. It's a great way to know where you stand. It's the perfect tool that lets you know which foods cause blood sugar spikes, which consequently causes insulin overproduction. Don't be an ostrich with your head in the sand. Remember, we can't fix what we don't know is broken. And again, I'm not a doctor, so if you're tracking your blood sugar and you can see a pattern that there's a problem, you have to talk with your doctor. This is a very, very serious issue. So that's it from me today. I hope I wasn't too long-winded. Go to my website at nosugarcoach.com for more information about this and other health concerns. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Also, if you have any questions or you have any comments about this subject matter or any other subject that you want to chat about, I always love to get your comments. So I will see you tomorrow. In the meantime, eat well, be kind to yourself, and keep a smile on your face. Bye-bye.